finally ready to finish that Hamburg American clock, musical alarm clock, little carriage clock. I had got a replacement movement. I thought I might be able to just change the parts out, but if you can see the little green lines on there, the original great wheel had 60 teeth, I think, and I think this one had 54, so I was not going to be able to use that, so I had to order in parts, and I believe this click spring is going to work. I ordered some various different things just to see what I could do. This original click spring is, 100 plus years old. They don't have this style. It's got one rivet hole and then a little tab that's bent over into another hole right there. These two holes seem to be the same size, so I'm hoping I can rivet this one in its place. Right on there. So my first mission is going to be to get this old click spring out. This is where this one had broken the end off when I got the clock, and it worked for a while. They had used some JB Weld or solder or something to just put a piece of a click spring hooked over onto that one so that this one was taking the brunt of the work, and this was just the end of it to hold this down. And trying to maneuver it because the click spring would move up and down. I tightened the click spring some so it didn't move up and down so much, but it was bent in such a way that it kind of applied pressure up and it wanted to slip off the top there. And then trying to get it bent down, the whole piece came off, so that's why I ended up getting this one to try to replace. So I'm going to see if I can tap this rivet out and hopefully reuse it. And then I've got a couple rivets. This is a you can't see all the parts probably with reflection on the plastic, but there's a little tiny rivet in there. This is a repair kit for a cuckoo clock ratchet, so there's a little tiny click in there and a little tiny rivet. I'm gonna see, and then I've also got a bigger set with a bigger rivet. I think it's probably too big, but I'm going to see what I can make work to get this piece working again. So the first thing that's going to be hard is finding some way to tap this out. I've got a couple of different staking blocks. I've got another one too that's about this thick. And I think I'm going to be able to use this little hole here and this little channel to support it so I don't bend my wheel. It seems to lock into that little hole right there pretty good. And then I've got various punches. I need to see if I've got one small enough. Those all look, that looks maybe small enough. Yes, okay, so I'm going to punch this out and I will be back. Old rivet is out, and I have it here. I didn't lose it. It was not easy to get out. I'm going to put this one in here. Set the little rivet in the hole. And then I'm going to turn it over and put it on here to hammer it. It won't stay together. It takes a few tries, so I'm going to work on that. Got it started on this side, just tapping it a little bit. But to tighten it up, you got to do it from the bottom side. And you need something rounded. That's what ball peen hammers are for. When you hit it, it flanges out the edge. So this is basically a little tiny ball peen hammer that I'm using from my staking set. I'm going to flare it out so that it'll stay. And that seems pretty snug. Got a little wiggle in it, so I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit more with the hammer and see if I can get a second rivet in that other hole. It's not quite lined up because it's not the one designed for this, but I'm going to try to get a little rivet in that other hole. Alright, I've got this pretty tight. It's not wanting to lift any, and I'm going to line up that second hole, and I've got this tiny little rivet from the Cuckoo ratchet wheel set. I'm gonna, whoa, and he went flying. Luckily it didn't go far. I'm going to try to put this little tiny ratchet in that hole. I know this is like watching paint dry, sorry. I tried both size rivets that came with the little ratchet set. One's too big, one's too small. I tried the little hook that comes with the Ingram set with their clicks. The rivet's way too big for sure, but I thought possibly this might fit in the hole and I could bend it over, and it's too big to fit in the hole. But I did take, where did it go? I did take a link that I happen to have laying here from one of the Cuckoo Clock chains and straighten it out to be one of these, and it is small enough to go in there. So my plan is to just do like so, and then bend the bottom over, cut it off. It should be flat enough to let me not interfere with my spring, and that will hold it secure. Keep it from, it's not going to be in the right place though. It needs to be up there to put pressure on the click. I might have to wrap it the other way to pull it down that way. And that'll hold it in the right spot. Alright. Turn it around. And wrap it the other way. That's my finished result. The Cuckoo chain link goes through and up that way, and then I bent the other piece around and it comes that way. So it's got it good and tight. As far as this thing moving, it's not. And the tip of this was kind of rounded off because of the years of it not being seated right. So I did swing my little click out here and file it with a sharp point again instead of being rounded. And then some of the teeth also are not in the best shape. As that got rounded out and it slid over the top, it slowly took the point off of these. So I have run over these and taken any burrs off that were going the wrong direction. And it seems good and tight. So I'm ready to put the spring on it and see if it's going to hold in the clock. It only takes one bad tooth to let this slip. There were 2 in a row that were pretty bad. So I'm checking each one, trying to turn them backwards, making sure it's seated down in there well. And it seems to be doing its job. So this is the other one that wasn't replaced. So there we go. That piece worked pretty well. I did have to bend it, arch it in more, push it tighter where it put better pressure, because when I first put it on, it let the click still move enough that it wasn't holding, but now it's holding well. So let's put this clock back together. I've just attached the movement to the base, and I'm holding the music box up in there. This will be the first time that I've heard the music box. And I'm just checking and seeing if everything's working right. I'm unscrewing the little screw so it can play. Overall came out pretty good. I'm not going to take this gold off that somebody put on there. It looks fine. And I could just turn the little dial and shut it off. I don't know. There's a clock back here, but I don't really know. I've got it set to where, oh, wrong side. Nope, that's the right side. Where the pin just fell off of the part that slowly lifts it. When it falls down, it lets this come forward and lets the music play. Releases the little pin on that one arbor going across so that it can spin. So I'm going to keep it right there, and I'm going to put the hands on at midnight so that when I turn the dial, I'll know what time I'm setting it for. That's the only way that I know of to set these, because there's no, you just put the hands on randomly and you hope you got them somewhere near the right time. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm happy to get this thing working again. I waited a month for that spring clip to come. I'm glad it finally came, and it wasn't too bad to put on. Nice little springs there. I also got some of this real cool stuff I've been waiting on. Some of the Keystone mainspring lubricant. It's a real heavy oil that's supposed to stay in place forever. So I put some of that on there, and I'm going to let it run overnight before I close the whole case up around it, because I don't want to take it all back apart again. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video part 3, and this part's done. Thanks for watching.